Hey, what is up guys, I'm Exterior, and in this video, I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to play one of the most favorable reroll comp that is very strong that can cap out at level 8, which is Vayne Slayer Reroll. If you want to see gameplay of this comp, you can check it out right here, it's gonna be in the description below. In order to play this comp, we're gonna need Winsu's Rageblade, since it's Vayne's core item, meaning that if you don't have Winsu's Rageblade on her, or at least one of them, she cannot function as a unit because her mana pool is very large and she's an auto attack unit. So this item allows you to keep auto-attacking and casting her ability. With that said, the item prio would be having a bow to prioritize Gwynsu's Rageblade and other items. Second to that, it would be Cloak, because you can make even shrouds with it, or you can also make Runaan's Hurricane, or even Bloodthirster on Zed if you have to. If you cannot complete a Gwynsu's Rageblade, a rod is very good for that. The last items you can pick up are either swords or any tank items you can get, since belts can also make guard breakers, and most of these units can hold it, it's fine to build those as well. For Vayne's best install item is Gwynsu's Rageblade with another one and a Runaan's Hurricane for that amplification of damage. Always at least keep one Gwynsu's Rageblade on Vayne, like I said earlier, it's her core item, and the second one, you can interchange it with any of the artifact items such as Fish and Bones and Sniper's Focus, or if you cannot build Gwynsu's Rageblade, you can also build Guardbreaker or Hextech Gunblade. And then for her amplification item, Runaan's Hurricane is very powerful for her since she can hit 2 targets at once and also gives her attack speed. If you cannot build this item, you can always build IE, that's okay as well. Essentially saying you can always build Gwynsu's Rageblade, Guardbreaker IE, that's fine as well, or with Gunblade and IE, that's okay as well. Your main tank is going to be Jarvin, and like I said earlier, you're going to need Even Shroud. The reason why is because you need some sort of armor break for Vayne's auto attack to do more damage, and Jarvin is the best holder for that item. You're also going to need anti-heal item, so Sunfire is also great for that. And third item could be whatever, it could be Redemption, it could be Protectors, it could be Warmogs. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have double debuff item on him, you're good to go. Or if you have to, if you cannot make a Sunfire, you can make a red buff or Merlocon and Senna. Your secondary carry, for at least the melee frontline one, it would be Zed, and these are his best in slot items, but realistically, you can put whatever 80 items you can put on him, or even with these gloves. And same with Senna. Sometimes you might have to play Senna as the main carry over the Vayne. If you're heavily contested, you can always pivot into Senna, and these are best in slot items. If you don't have Even Shroud, you can always put Last Whisper on Senna as well, instead of Guardbreaker. For the best emblems you could choose for this comp, it would be a Slayer emblem, and the units you want to put it on is Renekton. If you are not level 8 and don't have Renekton out yet, it's fine to put it on Kayn. And if you get a Divinity Corp emblem, which is also very good for the board, just throw it on Zed. The playstyle you want to play this comp is a high tempo fast 7. The reason why not fast 6 to reroll Vayne, even though the chances of a 2-cost unit is higher at level 6, is because you also want to roll for 3-star Jarvin, and you can also still hit Vayne 3 at level 7 as well. So the playstyle you want to play this is the win streak angle, and to do that, you have to at stage 2-1 level to 4, and then at stage 3-2 always make intervals of 10 gold, like 10, 20, 30, 40 gold. If you have more than 14 gold, which is like intervals of 24, 34, 44, pre-level to 5, which will look something like this. The reason why you do this is because when you come back from Carousel and you hit level 5, you have that level 5 shop right there and then. If not, if you didn't do this part, it's fine. You can hit level 5 at stage 2-4 instead after Carousel. But just know that if you do it beforehand, the level 5 shop will greatly improve your chances of getting the units you want. At stage 2-6, make intervals again of 10 gold, 20, 30, 40 gold. If you don't do this, you'll be poor for the rest of the game. You can do this at stage 2-5 as well. It's just easier to do it at 2-6. At stage 3-2, hit level 6, and then this part, you kind of have to roll for Vayne 2 to stabilize and have more powerful units out on the board. Then you level to 7 to play for the board later. And at stage 3-7 or even earlier, you can hit level 7, then you reroll for the board. This also fits all the units that you would need to synergize with one another. And then you hit level 8 or 9 whenever you 3-star Vayne. Basically about it to play this playstyle of high tempo to fast 7. Now for our opener, the best opener is to start off with the Vayne hopefully. If you can't, I could show you some other openers later, but for now, we're just going to show this as Vayne for now, and her first item summon you want is a Gwynsu's Rageblade because it's her core item, so it's one of her most powerful items you can put on her to win streak. The best tank you can throw out is because you cannot find a J4 early game most likely. You can have at least a Mundo 2 as the item holder for tank items, which is Sunfire. Sunfire will help you win streak a lot since it does damage and it also burns people. To pair it with Mundo, Alistair is great, and then just throwing a +1 unit like Shaco or any other powerful units you can find. To play this board, to fit all the synergies is reroll at 7 because you have 4 Slayer and 4 Vanguard. Yes, we have to look for 2 4-cost units, but you can use other units to hold off until you find them. Then at level 8, you throw out a Renekton to buff Vayne since she will gain more attack speed with the Divinity Corp, and he also synergizes really well with Senna, which I'll show in a team builder after this. If you have a Slayer emblem, throw it on Kayn, instead of Renekton, just throw out a +1 Slayer to get that 6th Slayer on the board. If you have a Fawn, or like any reason to have a +1, these are great +1 units because Renekton gives more attack speed to the board. Garen can also turn someone else to a Slayer, or you could turn Vayne into a Vanguard as well to gain extra defenses, or you could turn into Divini Corp to gain more attack damage with the Senna Divini Corp. Viego is a decent +1 as well because he's technically a +2 since he gains another unit if you throw him out on the board, and he also synergizes with Jarvin for that Golden Ox for that extra damage amp on the board. Or if you want to look for a cheaper alternative, Gragas is decent since he's a Divini Corp, gives more health to the board. For the team builder segment, so you guys can have a visual idea of how to play this comp, I'm going to show you guys the different openers you can play, and the first one will be Kog'Maw, and we're going to show Guinsoo Rageblade as the Vayne items. The best tanks you can play from here is Vanguard, due to because Skarner is also a Vanguard, and on top of that, you're going to need Vanguards later anyways, so you can throw out any other Vanguards such as Silas or even a Vi. Either one's fine. And to give Kog'Maw more damage, having Kindred with Rapid Fire is great. Whichever tank is level 2, just put the tank items on them and it's fine. So essentially, you just fill it up with 4 Vanguard at level 6 and then pivot into Vayne afterwards, which is pretty easy because you're going to have to roll for a Vayne 2 here at level 6 to power up the board, and just take out the Kog'Maw for the Vayne, take out the Kindred for a +1 Slayer, for example, like maybe a J4 hopefully, and then just put one more Slayer in, like maybe a Shaco, and then hit level 7, just play the full board afterwards, which is Senna, then transfer the take out of the J4 when you're rolling at 7, and then this part is basically luck. Hopefully you can find a Leona so you can get Anima Squad in, and Anima Squad will make your Silas and Leona a little bit more tankier. You also gain more power with the Anima Squad weapon. Choose the AD one because if you have armor break, that AD Anima Squad will do extra damage with it, and then hopefully you can find a Zed over this Shaco later. And the positioning I like to do personally is something like this, unless you have Edge Unite on Zed, or if you're comfortable enough for him to survive with maybe just Bloodthirster, then you can put him on this side and you can spread out Senna to the opposite side. So this positioning is fine, and you can do it vice versa as well. You don't have to exactly copy this, it's just a general idea of positioning. And then when you hit level 8, this powers up the board even more. Have a Renekton on the spot of Senna. The reason why is because you want him to bite Senna to gain extra damage. And then if you hit level 9, like I said earlier, you could put in any +1 units like Viego, you can throw in a Garen, you can even throw in a Kaboko, is fine as well, but it's heavily contested, so it's gonna be hard to find. Or you could throw in a Zac, it doesn't really matter at level 9. But the case is, if you have a Slayer emblem, for example, you want to put it on the Renekton, which is gonna be more powerful cat version, and then just have a Mundo or Shaco at level 9. But sometimes you cannot hit fast 9, so you're gonna have to put the emblem on Rost instead, and then wait to put Renekton later at level 9, have 6 Slayer, so you can one-shot everything with 6 Slayer. This comp is very easy and very simple. Before I almost forget, the other opener we can do here is just a Vayne opener, and to do that, it would be just Vayne with Mundo, Alistair +1 units, like maybe you could throw out a Graves because you get Golden Ox on the board, or you can maybe throw out a Shaco because you can get 4 Slayer possibly, so when you hit level 5, maybe you might find a Senna, so you can have 2 Bruiser and 4 Slayer. Or if you want to do Anima Squad opener, you can do that as well with Vayne, Seraphine, Silas, and a Vi. This board is also okay as well, and then hopefully you can find a Slayer unit at level 5, then hit level 6, then pivot to your board. And I know most of you might be wondering, why not just roll at 6 for this board instead? And my reasoning for that would be, even though you have 4 Vanguard, 3 Anima, 2 Slayer, the issue is 2 Slayer is not strong enough for Vayne personally, and the higher ranks, it's just not going to do enough damage. So it's always more worth it to drop the Anima Squad till you find the Leona to activate it, and just play 4 Slayers at 7 instead, because the stats between 2 Slayer and 4 Slayer is pretty huge. And that's all the tips I'm going to give you for this comp. Just remember, it's essentially 4 Slayer and 4 Vanguard for the base comp. Moving on to the augments, the ones you want to take like almost no matter what would be Pumping Up, Glass Cannon, and Piercing Lotus. These are great combat augments. Pumping Up will give her more attack speed, Glass Cannon gives her more damage, Piercing Lotus allows her true damage to crit. Also, lethal rerouting is super powerful for the board because it'll make Vayne heal Jarvin a lot. Category 5 is great for Vayne since it's one of her best in slot items, which is Renown's Hurricane, and it works well with Senna as well. If you want a 3-star units easier, Prismatic Ticket, Trick Sector, Raining Gold, and Hero Grabback is the best for that. The tips I could say for each one of these augments I would say is Prismatic Ticket is almost a must take every time. So you can 3-star Senna, J4, and Vayne super easily. Possibly maybe Silas as well and Kane. Trick Sector is just good for tempoing, meaning you can level to your boards quicker and try to win rounds a lot more faster. Raining Gold is just a good econ augment overall because you get free gold, it allows you to roll for it, and you can buy units easier. Hero Grabback is only good to take if you want to finish to a 3-star faster. Personally, I feel like there's no point to take it as a first augment. I feel like it's decent as a second augment, and then as a third augment, it's a last resort if you really need it. Shop Glitch is also a really good augment to 3-star units as well. And this is only like a first augment. I would take it most of the time as well if I don't see any of these augments. Good item augments is Component Buffet because you kind of need to like BIS your items. Pandora's items is if you really need to make perfect items, feel free to do so. Personally, I don't like taking Pandora's, but I know a lot of people like to take this augment. Potable Forge is a really great one because you can get either a tank artifact item or you can get a really powerful artifact item for Vayne. And the augment power order you want is item, so you can save a lot of HP, it makes your board stronger, and you might get something good out of it, like for example category 5. Second to that would be econ, which is technically these reroll augments here, so you can 3-star units easier, or you could do it vice versa, getting econ augment first and then item second. And then third augment should always be combat augment, which is like piercing lotus or glass cannon. Unless you start off with pumping up first, that's fine as well, but just pick and choose which augment you think is best for you at the time. This is just a general idea of the prior order you should take. And that is it for the comp that you can win at level 8 with, which is Vayne Slayer Reroll. If you have any questions, just leave me in the comment section down below. I try to answer to the best of my capabilities. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.